Enron scandal is an accounting scandal involving Enron Corporation, an American energy based in Houston, Texas. It was formed in 1985 by Kenneth Lay, merging Houston Natural Gas and Enron North.
The FBI archives showed multiple pieces of evidence that fraudulent activities were happening. For example, when we were listening to Kenneth Lay, he confessed to taking money from Enron and never paying back the full amount owed. This shows that if the higher people of the company were confessing to doing such frauding, we don't know who else could have been involved in this as well.
You have a good point. Also, in January 2002, agents executed a consent search of Enron's corporation building, and they found unearthed documents, and they found boxes of folders, and then they went on to investigate and interview hundreds of people to further along the investigation.
Yes, I completely agree. In February 2002, Enron's board of directors issued findings from its own internal investigation, the Powers Report, named from William Powers Jr., head of the Special Investigation Committee that wrote it, that said Enron executive reaped millions by violating basic accounting principles. They claimed that it was a gold mine. Agents conducted over 1,800 interviews in the U.S. and overseas. Also, many emails, papers, and documents were destroyed, which shows there is not enough evidence of fraudulent activities.
The destroyed electronic records appears to have being in the numbered in the thousands, according to the government official briefed on the matter. Some of those records have been recovered, Anderson said. There has been no accounting yet of the volume of papers that were destroyed.
Yes, when performing an integrated audit of financial statements, they did find that there wasn't enough information of fraudulent activities occurring.
There were many pieces of evidence that the workers were found stealing from Enron. A disclosure made by Kenneth L. Lay, Enron's chairman and chief executive, about $1.2 billion reduction of shareholder equity began to bother investors within days. That reduction related to Enron's transactions with partnerships run by Andrew Fastow, then the company's chief financial officer. As investors claimed for more information about those transactions, Mr. Lay first defended Mr. Fastow and then announced he was being replaced.
Yes, and also Andrew Fastow in court discussed the multiple checks sent to his wife and children stealing from Enron. This shows that he confessed to incorporating them into these activities, which eventually is why his wife is in jail. He also confessed to multiple people stealing from Enron and the senior management group. This shows that they were all a cause of the stocks going up extremely from the money loss.
Yeah.
It's on.
Also, Winsedy Kaminsky explained how even being transferred because he was a risk for the finances of the company. This shows Fastow must have wanted to make sure there was nothing in the way of this. Yeah, and then Enron stocks reached all-time high intraday trading at $90.75, and then they closed at $90 per share.
August of 2000, stock value hit $90.56, which was an all-time high.
I agree. I also believe since the stocks were extremely high before the downfall occurred, this shows that there must have been it must have been hidden for some time before the public actually discovered this.
Yeah, Skilling had been at the transformation of Enron from an old natural gas line company to the biggest and most aggressive of the new breed and unregulated energy traders that buy and sell billions of dollars of electricity and other commodities all day.
Also, strategy helped Enron's stock prices soar during the past decade, but this year the company's shares have fallen sharply, as Enron has suffered from problems with its new broadband telecommunications trading unit, its investment in a large power plant in India, and criticism from officials in California who blame Enron and other energy companies for the collapse of the state's electrical market.
Kenneth Lay resigns as CEO and Jeffrey Skilling takes his place.
I believe Lay must have resigned because he wanted to see Enron survive.
Since Kenneth resigned, it makes me question, was there a bigger reason behind it besides him claiming that the company took up too much of his time? But instead, he could have been saving himself from any troubles later.
As Kenneth Lay resigns, it puts a spotlight on Jeffrey Skilling, but Skilling knows what he was getting into from the start.
Vincent and Elkin, an independent law firm, concludes their review of Enron's accounting practices. They found no wrongdoing.
So what Enron did was they used mark to market, where he couldn't back up any of the funding, so he would just write it off. So when they would buy a new business or they would buy really anything for the company, they wouldn't be able to fund it, so they would just try writing it off, which made them go into so much debt.
Yeah, and I believe if there's not evidence from his firm, we have no way of knowing if all this information is true. Especially since we did not hear enough people confess about them actually having wrongdoing.
They also concluded that Enron did not need a larger investigation into the issues raised in Miss Waltkin's letter, but warned that the bad cosmetics of the partnership could bring a serious risk of adverse public and litigation.
Publicity. Thank you for your time today. We hope to hear from you and what your courts decide.